So my name is Peter Murphy. I am a Design and Technologies teacher at Northcote High School. I was the STEM leading teacher and I'm currently the Green Team Coordinator, which is a really exciting initiative. So when we had the opportunity to renovate this space, we wanted to make them more like design studios so that we could kind of broaden the opportunities that the students had in design and technologies. So one of the first projects we did was to get teachers from different learning areas connected to STEM. Teachers created STEM units of work for their learning area based on existing curriculum and subjects, but using the design process as the structure for it.
In particular, in the past, our faculties really acted as silos and didn't have that cross-faculty collaboration. But we've been able to get together the design faculty, the science faculty, the food technology, the IT staff, all together collaborating on real-world problems.
They all collectively chose to focus on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So it's problem solving using design process, tackling something related to those Sustainable Development Goals. So when you have this larger, broad problem-solving approach and you're tackling issues that young people care about, very quickly students can experience quite a lot of success with their ideas.
And then if they come up with a solution together, then I say to them, do it a second time and do it differently. So the first time they might make something by hand, like a prototype, and then the second time I say, well, what if we were to do it on the laser cutter? Or what if we were to do it with a 3D printer? And so I start to get the ball rolling in terms of some different kind of directions that they could take with the same problem.
In the junior years, we'll give them the resources, the amount of time that's required, and we'll facilitate their approach as much as possible, and then we'll let it happen, because learning through failure is kind of the most important lesson that they could possibly have.
There's this program called Precious Plastics, which is about creating ways of recycling plastic products so that there's less going to waste. And at school we have this workshop where recycled plastics, which we collect, are turned into pellets and melted, and then we can turn them into different products.
So students understanding the kind of environmental impacts and even the kind of economics and social impacts that this material can have, there's a lot of learning in there.
So we're researching, looking at plastic. We're doing some skill development. How can we use plastics in the workshop? What's the tools? What's the equipment that we're using? And then designing at the same time. So if we're going to start collecting plastics as a school community, what's that going to look like? And instead of me answering all those questions for the kids, I'm letting the students look into it themselves and investigate it and think, okay, well, this is going to work and this isn't going to work.
The project we're working on at the moment is to put out posters and bins and signs to tell people to collect plastic to use it for future recycling.
If you're educated on the topic, maybe learning it through school, then you can just teach your friends and family little things about how the single-use plastics that you use around your house are affecting the environment.
We wanted it to be a legacy project that could kind of exist one year to another. The design tech students could use it, the maths teachers could use it in their teaching, they could refer to it or have students interact with it directly. Same with science, so they could unpack the whole issue of pollution and climate change and look at this as a programme of direct action. They could even evaluate it, whether it's useful or not. So the Green Team is a programme that many schools have. A lot of the goals of these programmes is to make the school itself as sustainable as possible, which is fantastic.
Last year we did a lot about solar panels and we got our school more solar panels, and we worked with the canteen. It was a smaller project last year and now we're going big.
This Precious Plastic programme takes it the next step further, where students are actually kind of having direct action against a massive global problem.
I've known climate change and all this plastic and pollution has been happening, but I've never really known what I could do. But joining Green Team, it made me think that I was doing something to help everyone.
So today we've been planning for our Precious Plastics project, and so we're interested in collecting plastics from primary schools around this area and getting them involved too, so that we have, the program on a bigger scale.
So having a position of leadership associated with STEM is a clear signal to the school community that this matters to us. someone to draw a coherent narrative with everything else that you're doing as a school and connect it in, and to remind everyone of how it connects to STEM.
My advice is to speak to others, to find out about their experience, create your own local networks, consider the culture of your school, talk to the students, what do they care about? You would really want to kind of make sure those things were embedded in anything you did.
I think the interesting thing about these subject areas is that you really free the kids up to have a bit more agency and a little bit more student voice.
There are actually a lot of, small changes which we can make just as students. And I think it's also great experience because, more and more kids are, joining the fight for all sorts of activist issues, and I just think this is going to set me up well for the future.
It's so important for students to engage in STEM-based curriculum and projects because, as we know, all of the problems of the 21st century, disease, climate change, migration issues, population issues, all of those problems are going to require mathematical or scientific or engineering solutions for us to get through those. But then there's a social and emotional point of view as well. We know that when students have agency over understanding and then finding the solutions, that they are better able to cope with the anxiety associated with those big challenges. And if they know that they're equipped to deal with them, that they can make an impact, then the stresses about them are reduced.
So the more that we can do to empower them, to make them feel that they can have a change and to give them the tools and skills to actually do that, then the better for all of us.